Welcome everybody to a new episode of Leadership in Bluejeans, and today we have two guests, Lucian Marinescu, who is a board member at the Hotel Intercontinental in Romania and managing partner at Hospitality Trading and Consulting.
Thank you for inviting.
Thank you for coming. And we have Nora Dobre, who is the Human Resources Manager at Jnnovate and Associate Teacher at the University in Cluj. Welcome to you too.
Thanks, hi there.
So today, before I get there, I actually want to give both of you a minute in which you can probably introduce yourselves a little bit in the background. And I'm just going to start with you, Nora.
Thank you very much for inviting. About me, HR professional in banking and then energetical and now IT industry, and very, very passionate about cultural topic within HR. And this is my favorite part in teaching as well. Two kids from Cluj in Bucharest. Thank you.
Oh, okay, thank you. Lucia.
Thank you for inviting again. I've been a hotelier my whole life, doing also operations, so working effectively in hotels, but lately doing more like assistance and consulting for people that wants to develop their own hotel projects.
Right, okay. So the two interesting aspects. I'm sure you have a lot, I'm sure on your mind, among many things, is how do I create great teams? How do I create great high-performing teams? And I'm wondering what that would mean for you. What makes a great team?
Well, creating teams, it's really a challenging thing, especially in this period when human resources are very, very, let's say, scarce. I operate in a business where human touch is very present. It's hospitality business. It's where everybody expects to have some human contacts, human touch. And also relationship that we have as employees in our hotels with the guests, with the customers, is also very, very intimate, I would say, considering that these people actually live on those premises. Right. So it's that kind of industry that is very, very much connected to the type and the quality of people that work there. Sure, it's different type of skills that you need in different positions, but altogether the idea is a guest when he comes, he needs to have a seamless experience from the moment he enters the door till he leaving. Reception, housekeeping, kitchen, restaurant, everything needs to work properly. Right. It's not easy, and the key is to have a good coordination, because being there, being present, seeing things how they happen, and taking care that everything goes the right way, this is how things happen correctly.
Okay, so it's for you. It's at least that's what I'm reading between the lines. Is that the people need to come a good team member if they come with the general mindset of
being part
servitude
of a larger,
somehow for the customer.
Yes, and being part of a larger, let's say, mechanism that involves also other colleagues of them, and everybody is actually connected and depending in a manner one to another.
Nora, what's a great team for you? What's it?
I was thinking about how you formulated firstly the question, how you grow team. I would have jumped directly to say by a good recruitment. Okay, this can be a first answer, but I really do think that it's more, and we have now a context where, again, human resource is scarce, especially in some fields. In yours, I'm
like
sure
hotels,
that like hotels, but I can compete very well, I think, with the IT industry as well.
Everybody wants to be at IT these days. Come
on. But not directly a senior. But maybe we'll discuss about this. But if you ask how you grow a team, for sure, regardless from where he comes or she, from recruitment, from internal movement, it is about good integration. And I really understand and relate with what you said, that a very good onboarding, a very good start, it's critical.
What's a very good start?
A very good start, it's the most possible best induction and onboarding by all means, cultural, team, projects, technical systems and all the tools, not only because you do not want to lose that time and to lose recruitment process, but now, I mean, in my case, the projects are so fast that you cannot afford to have a partially good induction. But again, to grow a team, it takes a lot more than a good induction and a good recruitment. At the very end of the day, I think that the growing needs to have a lead, a purpose, a good project, and this is the top of the growing.
Is there anything different or in addition when we think about forming executive leadership teams?
I would just say that it is maybe a quite specific challenge to grow this kind of profiles within teams which are very technical. Maybe in support zones and other professions it's a bit more natural, but it's a bigger challenge to raise executives from technical or delivery people. So I can see this very specific challenge, supplementary for all kinds of challenges, specific for any zones where to grow leaders. It is a capacity building itself, and it takes training and time and focus and strategy and investment.
Coming a bit to what Elena said about induction. Induction, if you ask me, I'm talking about things, how they happen in hotel, let's say, is actually the weakest link of all this process. Yeah, because especially during these times where most of the hotels, let's say, fired, actually, that's the word, many people, inclusive in the executive teams. Now there is nobody actually to take care of the newcomers, to explain the things that they have to do, the jobs and the tasks they have, and so on. And most of the time they're just thrown into the job, and okay, sometimes they get it, sometimes, most of the times they don't get it, and they get scared and they leave. So this induction process is actually very important, and it doesn't really happen the way it should be, at least these days.
Yeah. Well, there's this saying or quote, I'm not sure, one of the two. A team is not a group of people who work with each other, it's a group of people who trust and respect each other. What do you think about that?
Well, of course, at a certain level, when you work together, you need to have some form of respect, some form of common goal. Otherwise, you wouldn't manage to work together. And coming a bit to the leadership, maybe the most important thing is to have that people that form a group or a team, they need to have this kind of confidence and respect to the people leading the team. Of course, between them also, but maybe most importantly, towards the leader.
Do you think there's any way, based on what Lucian said, that we can already test for that capability, at least, in the hiring process? When we look for people, can we somehow test for, are they capable of trusting, of being committed, accountable,
of course,
focused on team results?
Of course, everybody who is ordering a recruitment will say, I would like, first of all, to recruit on values. And for sure that we'll say that I would like to have such a person which is respectful, oriented on quality, a very good team member. Of course, we can have clues in recruitment, and we can see some leads if a person is oriented or not on that values. But at the very end of the day, the shaping happens also in the company. For example, by the way of working. One example I'm putting on the table maybe to see what kind of collaboration is producing agile way of working.
Okay.
Can be, and I really do think in some domains can be such a way of work and think which is producing that kind of pressure, but again, to be respectful or oriented on things you said, it's on both ways, but starts for sure with the person, and you cannot state at the end of the recruitment process whether you are fully sure of it or not.
No, that I understand. That would be probably impossible.
It's part lottery. In every recruitment, there is a part of
a part of lottery.
A lottery, yeah.
You never know exactly how much you get to show and how much is real.
No.
Yeah. So there's this when we talk about building great teams, the impact of the choices that we make of who we lead in the team is of course exponentially higher the higher the role we're hiring for, because with the position comes power and a lot of impact.
And responsibility.
Yeah, and the responsibility, exactly. And when the responsibility is executed in a way that is not leading to becoming a great team, then we have a huge problem.
It happens,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah.
It happens. Now, okay, probably that it's correct to say that every leader of a team has a higher leader at some point. Leadership is also structured on levels, I guess.
Well, in a sense, in the board, like you're a board member, there are not many people looking over your shoulder. So
true. There is an end on this on this hierarchy. True. Okay, there are shareholders, but okay, this is a very, let's say, large.
Yeah. But do you challenge the CEO or general manager or whoever is the lowest level for their team performance?
Sorry?
Do you challenge the CEO and about their team performance? Not just
For
the
sure.
numbers, but actually the cultural aspects that maybe you observe in terms of attrition.
Sure. In Intercontinental, for example, there are many, let's say, policies in terms of staff and how our colleagues are treated, and we have also all kind of surveys, how we feel in the company and all these kind of things. And yes, they are part of each manager evaluation. So each manager within the hotel has, let's say, a part of responsibility related and to the way they handle staff. Yeah, there is this kind of.
That's great. I actually like the fact that you're looking at manager ratings coming from the employees.
Yeah. Okay, there are different criteria of performance, but couple of them actually are related to staff. And
Okay.
Yeah.
And and I assume that combined with that, there's also some sort of culture that would not tolerate a toxic manager, so to speak.
Yes, most of the time, toxic managers at some point exclude themselves. So yeah.
Yeah.
As Lucian, you said, there is a peer pressure at all levels to be also taken into account, because of course we have all those measurable indicators and KPIs following, but it is also about how the teams are growing and working together. That kind of peer pressure which is happening with or without the formal leadership of a team leader, for example.
Sometimes it's informal, it doesn't have to be.
Exactly. And this is part of a cultural layer of the topic, and it is beyond, and sometimes even more producing much more effect than what we see on when we evaluate the MBOs.
True.
Yeah.
Sometimes the way people manage, let's say, informally by themselves to handle things within an organization might be much more effective than the formal ways. True.
Okay. Well, I want to bring in another aspect of this. So when we hire people into our teams, we look for the skill, we look for at least a match of general understanding of values and behaviors. We look at their work history, we look at the experience that they have acquired. But it seems like not just in Romania, but in Romania a lot, there seems to be also a lot of a focus on what's the person's age. So there is, Piața Muncii is right now airing a little documentary, a series of documentaries about age discrimination in Romania. Mm-hmm. And it appears to be rather substantial. So I'm wondering, we as leaders, what role do we play in that this is actually a phenomenon mm-hmm. in the country?
I can say that in our cases of recruitment, we have the luck to not have this differentiator, because it is very much more important, the technical skill. But I want to tell you that just discussed last week with a very, very young developer who said that he has a colleague, he's almost ready to be pensioned. Mm-hmm. And he said that he didn't expect, but he's so cool and so wise and so good. And also, I think that the industry of IT is getting higher on age. So maybe in IT, we are not already have this issue, but we are very close to that. But maybe Lucian?
Yes, okay, sure.
It's different.
Yes, discrimination, it's not a tolerable thing, let's say. Either it's age or sex or whatever. However, when we talk about, let's say, technical and or intellectual skills, like in IT, maybe age is not that important. But when we talk about jobs that require, let's say, physical strength, like a chambermaid, for example, or a bellboy who needs to carry luggages or who needs to raise beds or these kind of things. It's not about discrimination, but it's a reality that with age, some things go down in terms of performance.
You mean physically?
The physical activities cannot be performed as well as when you're young. So yes, I have to say that for some industries and for jobs in our, let's say, industry, we look, at least for some particular type of jobs, we look at age. Not a discriminator, but an objective fact that can impact themselves as health, to do such physical efforts. There are also some other let's say, jobs like, I don't know, waiter or all the administrative accounting and all these kind of things where, well, no, even recently we hired, let's say, few people with, let's say, higher age in the administrative department of the hotel. So
if I'm a 52-year-old accountant and I have the experience that the Interconti needs, I get a fair shot like everybody else.
You have a fair shot like everybody else. If you are 52 years chambermaid, maybe not.
It's probably something that you are not aware of or you don't know. But I'm wondering if, from the position that you're looking at the organization, whether you even know whether the HR department and the recruiters are using an applicant tracking system that is already filtering out people based on age?
No.
Because that seems to be maybe not in both your companies, but that seems to be a thing that's actually happening. People send in hundreds of CVs and they get 1 minute later, sorry, no.
Yes, maybe I would add something that when you are recruiting and when you're doing mass recruitment, you start to implement that kind of systems and you start filtering. But again, not only in industry, but when you have the luxury to not have mass recruitment, probably you are more open and permissive. So the big selection starts when mass recruitment is occurring.
Yes, when we expect, let's say, hundreds of CVs and stuff like this, probably you start doing some filtering, like, I don't know, region, address, city.
No, these things make sense.
But age could be, I don't know.
Yeah. So where do you suppose this phenomenon is happening? It seems to be quite prevalent in Romania. I mean, it's not non-existent. Do you think it's an important problem even? Because maybe in terms of impact on the society and general well-being.
Now, regardless of my professional example in IT, I really do think that yes, it is real, and even more like this, the pandemic period just emphasized that cleavage where the intellectual professions are a bit more advantaged and not so filtered by age. But I think that in other jobs it's on the other way.
I don't have an understanding of how extended is this phenomenon, to be honest. But for sure, let's say people that are coming closer to the retirement and somehow lost their job, they cannot find where to work, and it's too early for them to retire. I can imagine that's a real problem. On the other hand, there are all kind of programs I know, and for reconversion, for this type of trainings, maybe moving into other industry, maybe trying to get some jobs that are more fit for your physical state, and maybe there are some ways for these people to handle things.
Yes, and I would add that if we are aware, HR people, about the demography of Romania and the region, when things look pretty clear, that the aging trend is very accelerated, natality is lower. If we can, make a bit more faster some internal learning, conversion processes, we could be, not only we HR, because we are closing recruitments, but our organizations could be real winners. But this kind of thinking and internal organizing, and to make some machineries internally to be capable of reconversion is a kind of new activity within HR departments, which is quite a challenge.
On the other hand, coming to the people themselves, we are pretty new in this type of capitalist type of environment, and our, let's say, people, they don't know how to change themselves, and sometimes I'm not saying that they are to be blamed, because they don't have this mindset to change or to try something else.
Brought up with it, at least, yeah.
Yeah. These are most of the time, as you grow old, you get stuck a bit in a kind of mindset, and if whatever you do it's gone, they don't have most of the time this ability to enlarge a bit the views, to try something else. Immobility, I don't know how to call it.
Yeah.
Of course, it's not a reason for them to be left aside by the society, but in a sense, people also have to have this openness.
Yeah. Well, there's also this often quoted reason for age discrimination from the perspective of the employer is exactly the expectation that the people 45 plus, and by the way, 45 I find ridiculously low, but actually apparently that's where it starts.
46, so don't make me feel bad. I'm worried already.
Yeah, you probably don't believe me. You could practically be my son. Anyway, so that exactly this expectation that the person who's applying and is 45 plus probably is going to be a lot of trouble because they have a kind of closed mindset in terms of, well, this is the way we've always done this, and there's just this one right thing of doing things. But
it's true, but it's on the other hand, people that are at a certain age, on the other hand, are, let's say, more dedicated and more reliable in a sense than the younger people. They don't have this kind of crazy thing. They don't disappear for weeks because they went to Ibiza, they forgot to come back, and these kind of things. So it's plus and minus. It's not like exactly.
Yeah, because really wondering also when we then put teams together that are diverse in teams of age, I think we know that can be a challenge, but at the same time there can also be huge benefits. But how do you make it work?
Of course, young people, it's well known, all this distance between generation, and it's growing actually. It was a period, this few decades, last decades, when changes were so fast, and probably this difference between generation is higher than ever was. And these people, young people, don't have this kind of patience, this kind of understanding. The older people don't understand many things like technology and so on. On the other hand, there is a lot of benefits on experience and on being the wiseness. I don't know how to say. And the calm, that this kind of people bring, and how to handle this. Sometimes we cannot.
Yeah, actually, I would agree. Do you have
I think that if the market of the workforce possibilities, I mean, to be hired or to be employee or to be an entrepreneur or a contributor to a company as a supplier is evaluating, like as we see, at least in this industry, we might have employees this kind of age group people. Why I'm saying this? Because the Ibiza guy will not stay with a working contract at the company. So if you are classically recruiting, we might hire only that plus age, because the rest will come with a contract and will not be a recruited person as we are discussing now.
Yeah. Oh, we have to move away from the Ibiza guy. I get slightly jealous. I get slightly jealous about this image right now.
No, but this we see this quite a lot in our industry, and the behavior of younger generation and older generation, the type of services they require. Not only from, so I'm trying to talk not only from the perspective of our employees, but also of our guests, to emphasize a bit that the difference are quite big between these levels of age.
Yeah, actually, I think when I said earlier, I agree. When you were saying sometimes it's not possible, I remember multiple times, but 2 times where I had a very senior member in a team of people who were much younger, so age difference around 30 years. And one time it worked absolutely beautifully, and the other time it was a continuous problem.
Fight.
And the main difference was actually the following. The person where it didn't work so well really had a bit of a closed mindset. It was a little bit about or I've done this, I've seen this, whatever idea we were putting on the table is always like, there was so much negativity around this, and there was only one right way of doing things.
His way.
Even if it was, or no way. Like,
or no
it's
way.
unsolvable, because I tried in the past and it didn't work.
Okay.
And the other person, and that is the big difference. Actually, it was even older than the other one, shortly, beyond 60. She was just wise. So she would not stand in the way of listening and accepting the ideas and the enthusiasm that came from the younger part of the team. She was just adding her wisdom to the process.
Setting.
Exactly. So and I think that this could be an important message for everybody who's 45 plus, applying somewhere, to perhaps make sure that this comes out when they apply, but also when they actually go to an interview. Because I think this makes it a lot less scary for employers who are a little bit afraid of that, is maybe closed mindset and so on and so forth, if they actually give them opportunity to see that they're not like that.
Yeah, for sure it's a matter of person, so that person has to have certain mindset. On the other hand, there is also a matter of the way that the guy that is leading the team managed to level up a bit and make everything feel, communicate with everybody on its own terms and language, and somehow harmonize this.
Yeah.
So this is also an important thing.
Good. I'm glad we agree on this. Nora?
Yes.
Yes? So we're getting close to the end of our conversation. And I have a feeling there's a lot that could be discovered there, where the few minutes that we have are not really enough. But with regards to building great teams that include diversity in age, do you want to have a final say?
Yes, just to test it, and for all the HRs to try to make everything the best for building such a capacity and absorption potential to be able to receive and to invest in training or reskill or upskill regardless age.
Super.
Thank you.
Lucia?
But the main idea is that age is not a handicap, and there is value in the years that people had in their business, in their job, in whatever they did. And for sure, this can be used. So there's no fear in getting these kind of people into teams.
Excellent. Amen to that. Thank you both for coming. It was a great pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you to the viewers. Take care, and until next time.
Bye.
Bye.